What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Catch All Media. My name is Andrew, and in today's video we are coming to you, well, we being me, I'm coming to you on the fly again. I'm sitting in my car right now outside of work. This won't be a normal thing as far as different locations, but just for now with my schedule it kind of works out this way. So today I want to do something a little bit different. The channel is called Catch All Media, but so far we've just been talking about Blu-rays and movies. I would like to mix in some other things as well. So today I want to talk to you about a manga that I have been reading that is very popular. It's had an anime release back in the 80s. It is just now getting a English serialization in the States, and that is Fist of the North Star. Now, like I said, this is a classic. A lot of people have already read this or seen the anime. The people are familiar with it. But like I said, living up to my channel's name, I want to do something a little bit different, talk about different things. So let's talk about Kenshiro, who is the main character in Fist of the North Star. The series is written by, the story is by a man named Buronson, and the art is by Tetsuo Hara. And this story is set in a post-apocalyptic world, and we meet this drifter who is our main character, Kenshiro, as he is drifting through this world, kind of, in search of something, but we're not sure what it is at first. So the first part of the story, we just are introduced to him as he's battling these drifters that, it's almost like a Mad Max sort of world. And he's encountering all these, massive, brutal Neanderthals who are just murdering and pillaging anyone that they find. And we're introduced to Kenshiro, and we see that he has this massive power. And if you can see here, he's got these wounds. There are 7 wounds on his body that make up the North Star pattern. And we don't know a whole lot about that in this first chapter, or in this first volume. And I don't want to go anything past what's in this book. So I just want to touch on, the intro to the story, things like that, and my thoughts on it in general. So for the first part of this story, when we're just following Kenshiro and we're, seeing what he's doing and learning more about his powers, there's not a whole lot of detail. There's not a lot of plot structure, but it's very entertaining, and the art in it is beautiful. The action is well paced, and I think that Kenshiro as a character is very intriguing, even though he's not fully fleshed out in this first volume. But I did have a really good time reading through this as a whole. I think that as this volume, as you get further into it, it starts to make more sense, and you start to get more of the story, and you start to kind of piece things together a little bit more, especially once we find out that Kenshiro is in search for his fiancée Yuria, who has been kidnapped by a man named Shin, who Kenshiro trained under and was an ally with until Shin basically abandoned Kenshiro, and they became enemies, and he attempted to murder Kenshiro, and things kind of went from there. Like I said, I don't want to touch on too much plot, just in case you do end up reading this. I want you to kind of experience it for yourself. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. Some of the plot structure as far as in this first volume is a little bit wayward. We don't really, it's not nailed down. It's kind of like you feel like you're introduced to some enemies, and Kenshiro quickly beats these enemies, so you're kind of just wondering where we're going as far as who's going to be the main antagonist in this story, and what the story itself is. So once we're introduced to Shin, I think this story really picks up, and we get more of a structure to it, and we get more of an insight into Kenshiro, his background, what kind of a character he is, why he is the way he is now, and what he might have been like before all this tragedy happened to Kenshiro. Now, I will say that if you don't want a small spoiler, go ahead and skip ahead probably, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute now. So when Kenshiro meets Shin, and then towards the end of this volume, Shin dies. So you're kind of just, you're left as like, where are we going from here? Because Shin, I thought, was going to be the main antagonist in this series. But I will say that even though that takes place, it doesn't take away from the volume. It doesn't take away from the story. It just kind of intrigues you to like, okay, well, if Shin's not going to be the main antagonist, then where are we going from here? And that's kind of like where this volume leaves off. So if we're looking at just this volume itself, I would say that this is a very Well-paced story. I think the action is pretty fantastic. You get introduced to a lot of villains that are quickly defeated by Ken, and you're really just shown that, hey, listen, this guy is nothing to fuck with. Like, this guy is not going to be easily taken down. This is a guy we can root for, we can get behind, and a guy that we can follow throughout this story, and be, you know, pretty content that he's gonna keep beating everyone, and he's gonna keep going along, and we're gonna keep following him and watch his story progress. So I think that if you have never read manga, or maybe you've seen some anime but you don't watch a lot of anime, and you're kind of looking to get into it, I think this is a great series, because for me, you know, I love Hong Kong movies, I love Japanese movies, I do love comics, so for me this was a no-brainer. But for people that maybe you're just intrigued, I think this is a great place to start, because it's very malleable, it's easy to digest, you can take it in. It's not you know, it's not a deep dive into manga, I would say, which is good for, you know, new beginners, or a Western audience that maybe hasn't been fully introduced and indoctrinated into manga or anime. And even like older readers, myself, I'm 24, but I think even older people who may be just intrigued or interested by manga or anime, this would be a fantastic place to start. So these volumes are a little bit expensive because they're hardback covers. It does have essentially 2 volumes in these books. So I believe it's about 6 chapters, maybe? No, I think it's more than that. But you do get quite a bit of, yeah, so it's 13 chapters in this first volume. So you get plenty of information and plenty of content in here. I would show you some of the art in here, but currently there's a lot of copyright strikes being taken down for videos on YouTube that have manga art in them. So I just want to show you this front cover, because this is a beautiful book. If you listen, it's very sturdy. I don't see this being damaged very easily. I don't see this getting a lot of wear and tear on your shelf. So for any of you that are watching this that are Blu-ray collectors, which is usually what we're talking about.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Hey, nobody's talking to you. This is going to look beautiful on a shelf as well. So even if, you know, you're one of those collectors that just loves the way things look on shelves, give this a shot. Pick this up at Barnes & Noble or on Amazon, or eBay, even secondhand, whatever it might be. Just get your hands on this and give it a shot, because I think that you will enjoy it. I think that if you're a fan of any kind of action movies, Hong Kong movies, martial arts, anything blood sport, things like that, I think that this is going to be right up your alley, and it's going to be very entertaining. So I would say that this is definitely worth a pickup, worth the read. And if I had to rate this first volume, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Only taking that half star off just because sometimes in this story of this first volume, I did find myself not confused at all, but just more so intrigued by where we're going, what are we doing, and you know, why it's kind of all over the place. But I think that the reason for that is because we're just laying the groundwork, we're setting the story structure, the building blocks up, and really this whole volume is just to introduce you to Ken, a little bit of his backstory, and why he is how he is now. And we see his interactions with those around him. We see that he's a good guy, he's got good intentions, he's just had tragedy occur in his life, and especially in this post-apocalyptic setting, it fits right in. So that was Fist of the North Star. I really enjoyed it, guys. I hope that maybe you'll check it out. If you like this video and you want to see more stuff like this, let me know, because I read manga all the time, I read comics. I just didn't know if there would really be an audience for it on the channel. But because the channel is called Catch All Media, I want to do different stuff. So expect more, you know, different types of videos, not just movies, not just Blu-ray releases coming your way, although there will be plenty of Blu-ray movie videos and movie videos coming up. So if you like this, guys, give me a like or leave a comment and tell me what you think about this. Tell me if you're intrigued by this. I would really like to know. That way I can, you know, gauge whether or not we want to do more stuff like this. Subscribe if you want to see more stuff from me. I have about 15 videos on the channel so far, and more will be on the way. So thank you guys for checking this one out, and I will catch you guys in the next one.